Okay, hi. So we've talked on confidentiality, we'll talk of integrity, and the last phase of the CIA TRIAD is availability. The recap on integrity. Integrity is just to ensure that the data has not been tampered, modified, or changed. So has to do with trust. And one of the way we can obtain integrity is through hashing, and where we have to compare the hash values to make sure that all the digital data has not been changed or electronic data has not been changed. The last one is availability. So availability just means that data needs to be available 24/7, 365 days a year. At any given point in time, data must be available. And this, again, as I said, is just those fundamental core concepts in security that we need to understand, so that when we start talking about all the different regulatory authority, that is going to make more sense why organizations need to abide to those different frameworks and to ensure that confidentiality, integrity, and availability is being maintained. Looking at availability as a way of making sure that you as an end user, you can also get your data at any given point in time. Say in a banking system, you want to log into your bank, you should be able to access your account at any given point in time. Think of a situation where maybe you want to make a purchase, and unfortunately, maybe hackers have brought down that bank. Maybe they've brought down their system. You guys, I think you must have heard of ransomware. Well, actually, they can bring down an organization system, they can encrypt all their data, and then they're going to ask for a ransom to be able to decrypt it or give the organization their data, or to release their data back. Just think of a situation where maybe, let's just say that's your only bank, you want to make purchase, or someone is sick, you really need money. And because of that, that system is down, you cannot log in, transaction cannot go, nothing can happen. Do you know the kind of catastrophe that's going to cause? Yeah, so look at it this way. Or better still, say you want to shop at Amazon, and you go there for like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you are not able to log into your account, you cannot even shop. They know how much Amazon you're going to lose just as a result of that data being down, or that system being down for like just 1 minute or even 1 second. Yes, and that's why the concept of availability is really, really, really important. And just looking at this diagram, these are just some of the things that we have eventually covered. They said that, again, it's just to ensure that unauthorized users have access to information and associated access when required. So at the end of the day, availability, again, we'll see always everything. I will still keep talking more on the authorized users. They should be able to access data at any given point in time. There are also different methods that availability can be obtained. One of those methods is vulnerability scan, where organization keeps scanning their assets. Yes, now I've just introduced another word, asset. Asset just refers to all the different software or hardware or firmware that organization do have. So for example, if you have like an iPhone, or maybe your laptop, okay, so those are all assets. The fact that it's connected to the organization network, those are all assets. And then think of all the different application or software that are being hosted on your operating system. Those are all the software components that we are talking about. So at the end of the day, organization needs to keep scanning the different software, in particular, keep scanning to see if they have different vulnerabilities. But of course, we're going to prepare a video on vulnerability scanning, what it is, and why organizations need to keep scanning their system for that. But that's a way to scan it to see if there are any vulnerabilities or weaknesses, where I'm going to make another video on weaknesses, vulnerability, and risks. Weaknesses like those loopholes that those software comes with, or maybe have, that an attacker can take advantage of the fact that this software has certain limitation to exploit it and eventually carry out an attack. So my organization need to keep scanning this asset system to ensure that they don't have any of those vulnerabilities or weaknesses. And scanning, in a nutshell, it's just like you want to scan or something. If you have like a scanner, you take your time, you scan to make sure you have the result. Like maybe people work in a lab, same principle applies. They work there, they check, make sure that they don't have any, like eventually scan that system to get like the good output, or maybe the specimen, they scan it to make sure that it can with a with the correct result. because in a situation where you go and render like an inaccurate result, you can eventually kill somebody because doctors might go and maybe give like maybe the wrong medication because your result interpreted it wrongly. And that's why scanning, just as it applies in the hospital setting, same principle applies here, but now we keep scanning of different vulnerabilities or loopholes or weaknesses that the software comes with. Another key way to also ensure that availability is being maintained is through patching. What is a patch? Fair enough. We've talked so much about software. I believe all of you keep patching your software. Time and again, maybe you have an iPhone or an Android, the vendor is going to send you like release a patch or release like a software update. You need to patch it because if you don't patch it, there are times where this thing come like with bug, okay? It comes with a lot of like stuff that needs to be remediated, that needs to be fixed. It's just like you have your house and you never sweep your house, you never mop your house. What's going to happen? Maybe you can find yourself having a lot of insect or like some funny stuff in the house that can even damage your walls, right? So same principle applies here. Time again, this thing, they also have like bugs that, again, organization or the vendors that the owner of that particular patch, the owner of that particular software will need to release these patches, and when they release it, organizations are supposed to implement it and make sure that their system are being patched just to increase the performance and to ensure that this system are working the way they are supposed to work. Because in a situation where this system are not being patched, then don't be surprised that things might eventually break, and in a situation where users cannot really log into those systems or those software are not cannot function properly, of course it's gonna inhibit or prevent users from logging in, or and it can result to unavailability of data. Another one is backups. Backups is one of the most important way of ensuring that availability or data is available. Think of a situation where maybe you have like a mother nature that happened, or the system is down, or better say, maybe a hacker even get access to their system and you don't have a backup or something, or a default, or something happened that maybe your system goes down. At that point, the organization is going to rely on their backups. So without backups, you can eventually recover everything, right? You can restore and recover all your data as it was. And a typical example for some of you who have WhatsApp, if you change your phone, the only way you can securely restore all your previous chats, contacts, and everything is when you take a backup. If you don't take a backup, then you're definitely going to lose data. So just the fact that you take a backup daily or weekly or yearly, and in a situation where you have to change your phone, then you'll be able to restore and recover all this data. Same principle applies in an organization setting. So they also back up those data. They back their data, depending on the sensitivity of the data, or even a server, they back it up if it's like their core application or core system that they rely so much for business to operate. Of course, they want to kind of define their backups, and there are different type of backups that we're going to discuss in depth when we go to our Security Plus class. But as of now, another backup is one of those ways that organizations eventually perform backups, especially on their critical system, to ensure that in case of failure, if something happens, definitely they will be able to restore and recover from that backup. There are also situations where organizations need to have secondary site known as disaster recovery, also business continuity. Do you hear the word? Business continuity or disaster recovery. In a situation where a disaster occurs, then we are able to recover, from that disaster. Backup is another one, but they might also have like a secondary site such that in a situation of a modern nature, which can bring down maybe an entire building or their data center, then they know that, of course, they have a secondary site that they'll be able to restore all the data, or they'll be able to restore and recover all the information. So these are just some of the ways that organization eventually, or steps that organization have implemented or implement to make sure that their data they always have, like, there's always availability of data at any given point in time. So that is it for this slide, or for this basic concept. The next one, we're going to be talking on vulnerability, threat, and risks. So we're going to make another video on those key basic security principles. Then gradually we have to understand some of these basic security concepts before we can move into our training, move into our training fully. All right, so I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.